Thank you so much for joining us and being willing to share your caregiving story. I'm excited to get to know you more outside of our Instagram relationship. And so, introduce yourself. Who are you? Where are you from? And who do you care for?
My name is Michael Weeks. I'm from Charleston, South Carolina, born and raised. I take care of my mom and my sister. My mom is dealing with dementia, Lewy body dementia, and also my sister, she has Down syndrome. So I take care of both of them full time, caregiving. Had to quit my job to take care of both of them, and it's been challenging. It's been a lot um, to deal with, and it's been a roller coaster ride because it's ups and downs, and you just don't know. One day it's good, one day it's bad. One day she's eating, one day she's not. One day she's tired, one day she's up. So it is very challenging, and I just admire you and all the things that you do, and I look up to you and your mom, and so much other people that's on Instagram and social media and stuff, taking care of their loved ones, whether if it's dementia, Alzheimer's, whether it's cancer, any sickness. Being a caregiver, it's a lot to deal with. Um, and when I was coming through doing this, my mom got diagnosed back in 2015, and with me coming through to do caregiving, I didn't know nothing about it, didn't know what it was. I'm like, what caregiving? What, I have to stop everything and take care of my mom, and I'm not like a CNA or a nurse or anything, so I have to learn as I go, and it's been some good challenges, some good and bad challenging, but it's been overall, thank God for him keeping us and helping me along the way because it's not easy.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's rewind.
Okay.
So, you said that you're caring for your mom with Lewy body dementia and then also
Mhm.
your sister. And
Yeah.
so I'm curious to hear from you, like, what made you say yes to caring for them, right? Like, when was the moment where you're like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna step up and make sure that I care for them well.
Um, Family. Caring for your family. Nobody's not going to care for your family like you care for your family. And my mom and sister, I love them dearly. My mom being a single mom, she took care of me and my sister since day one. Even taking care of her parents, my grandparents. And after that, I think that's really went downhill after that. After they both passed, she kind of went down here after that. And when I saw that her, not being herself, that's how I was like, okay, hey, let me get my pants together, let me put my drawers on, and let me try to step up and take care of her like she took care of her family, her parents. So it's been a challenging, taking care, saying like, okay, I can do this, I can do this. And some days you'd be like, oh, I don't know if I can do this, But God just give me the strength just to do it, and I just think, thanking Him, because we don't have family, we don't have friends to help. They say they're helping, but they really don't help. They'll give you advice, but they're still not there to help someone. I definitely can relate to you because when you were talking about family and friends and church people saying, "Oh, being there for you," and they're not, and you're doing everything yourself, and you be like, "Okay, God, I'm like, I'm here. I need you to help me every step of the way because I don't know what to do, and I'm doing the best I can to care for her, and I want her to be in the best care she can."
Yeah. Yeah. You said she has dementia with Lewy bodies. So I know that, we know dementia is an umbrella, right? And there's many different things that cause people's dementia. And we don't often talk about Lewy body dementia, but it's very prevalent. And it's important to make sure we elevate the realities of this disease that
Yeah,
your mom is living with. And
yeah.
so, what was that diagnosis journey like? How did we get to Lewy body dementia? Like, did you know that something was wrong? How did we get here?
At first, I knew something was wrong. She been in two car accidents. She wasn't couldn't remember. She wasn't eating as much. She always been in grief, and I think it starts with grief and depression. I know a lot of people say it starts with uh the diabetes and it starts with your sugar and all this other stuff, but a lot of people wasn't talking about dementia and Alzheimer's back then than what they're talking about it now. And it seems like a lot of people now are getting it. A lot of people I know, their loved ones is dealing with it, and they try to say it's either age related, but I think it's either dealing with depression or dealing with grief or stress also, and not just the
Mhm.
food that we eat as well. And when she went to the doctor, first the doctor, I had to get several diagnoses, because first doctor was telling me she has Alzheimer's, not dementia. They just say, oh, she has Alzheimer's. And I said, let me just get a second opinion. Then I went to another doctor, and they said, oh, well, she has Lewy body dementia. I'm like, okay. So I was like confused, because one doctor said Alzheimer's, one doctor says dementia. And I know there's different Alzheimer's and dementia, and there's different ones. You got vascular, you got um Lewy body, there's so many others. So I was determined to try to figure out, what do she have, because these doctors are telling you different things and you don't know what to believe. So I just start doing my research. I started looking up different things. What are the symptoms? What can she eat? What can she not eat? What vitamins or supplements can she take? I was doing the holistic stuff too, being, into herbs and different things to try to help her as well. And it is a rocky road to deal with, dealing with that, losing your memory, not knowing you are, not eating, being depressed, being sad, being angry. I dealt with a lot of that with her, her being very not angry, but being what's the word I'm looking for? Aggressive in that state. So it's a lot to deal with. And I don't
Mhm.
know what your mom has as far as dementia and Alzheimer's, but I know there's different ones that are out there. So.
Yeah, my mom was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's disease in 2014.
Hmm.
And so,
My
you
mom
know,
was
I
2015.
oh wow, okay. I think what's interesting even in hearing you share is just how quickly people are it's like to lump everything into like, oh, it's Alzheimer's, but you were like, no, there's something else, right? And
Yeah,
it often requires you to have to do a little extra
and,
investigative work to ask
yeah,
more questions to really get to the diagnosis that you needed.
and my family was like, "Oh, well, she just might be going through menopause." I said, "Well, it can't be just menopause." So it's like, I had to really dig, because it started in her 50s. And a lot of people, now you can start it at your 50s. There's some science is saying that you can start at your 40s and stuff. But it's good to catch it while you can, and start taking supplements and eating healthy and exercising while you can now, so to prevent it. And it's
Hmm.
like there's a lot of stuff that you consume. It can be the toxins, it can be what we breathe and what we eating and different things like that. And like I say again, it can be depression, it could be grief, or losing of a loved one, or dealing with death, or dealing with divorce. Anything. It could be anything that brings on depression and grief and anxiety too. And a lot of people don't talk about that too. And it's mental health is real too. So you have to focus on that as well, because that would bring on dementia and Alzheimer's as well, and Parkinson's disease, stuff like that.
Hmm. So let's talk about you, the caregiver, right? You
Okay.
are a male caregiver, which we don't often like elevate enough, but you were in the trenches with all of us. And so I'm curious to hear how has your identity or like how have you evolved since becoming a caregiver and a care partner to your mom and sister?
Oh, well, like you said, being there's not too much male caregivers out there, so me doing that, it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's different. It's a blessing in itself, because a lot of people always come up to me and tell me, "Oh, you're doing such a great job taking care of your mom and your sister. You are a a male person, and we don't get too many people doing that, and you always have your sister dressed up, because she like to take pictures and stuff. So I always have her looking nice, and my mom looking nice, and making sure they get to their appointments, making sure they get to where they need to go, and different things and like that. So it's different. um Being that I'm a young person, I'm 37, and I could be in college or in school, or move out the house, or could have been gone to different places or whatever. I was seeing the world, working or whatever. But I guess God give us different assignments to do, and this is my and our assignment to do, to take care of our loved ones. And this is how we, and everybody says that this is how we get our blessing, and this is how we God is going to elevate us even more. And like the Bible says, you have to honor your mother and your father so your days can be prolonged the land. So I just continue to do that. Yeah, it is hard. Yeah, it is challenging, but I know that God's given me the strength to push myself to do that. And
Yeah.
also, not just that, I try to stay focused. Also have my own shirt business too. Humble, it's called Humble Level. If you can see it, stepping into the level. So I try to do other things to keep my mind off different things, to not to stress and worry. So also, I'm into music. I play drums. I sing. I do praise and worship at church and stuff like that. So I try to stay focused and stay busy so I won't get trapped, so I won't be depressed and won't be down. And then sometimes you still get like that, but I try to on church and reading the Bible and focus on my business and focus on music and stuff like that too. So
I love that. It's so interesting. I asked you about you and you still talked about caring for everyone else, but then you said this is how I take care of me and focused on like music and church and your
mhm,
business and
mhm.
finding time for you to be focused. And it does seem like that creates a sense of balance for
Down.
you. Balance is like a funny word. No one's ever
Yeah,
fully balanced, but
no.
like gives you something else to think about.
And also going to the gym when I have time, I try to go work out too, and go walking around the neighborhood, going to the gym and stuff like that too. Yeah,
Yeah, I love that.
yeah,
That's the first thing that people often put on the back burner is their own mental health and well-being, but it
yeah.
sounds like you're being really disciplined about keeping it at the forefront for yourself.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Now I don't know what you do. Like, what are some of the things that you do, as far as staying navigated on everything and staying together?
Yeah, such a good question. Thanks for asking. So, I teach a fitness class at the local YMCA, and so that's like my thing that I love to do every week on Tuesdays and Fridays. And then of course, I have my own just like workout time, and then I really honestly people underestimate just like quiet time that's just like you and the TV or you and your music or like you getting up early and sitting on the porch. And so I really value like the moments where I'm not responsible for anything or anyone and it just be with my thoughts, which I intentionally plan in on a daily basis.
And
We love,
you have
yeah,
to have to sit and think, or just
yeah.
to read the Bible, or just get into the Word. I've been doing that more now. Like
Hmm.
sitting and watching TV, spend time with you and yourself, because throughout the day you don't have time. You just be
Right.
going, and you just don't have time to do all those things. So sometimes I get up early in the morning, like say 5 or 6 o'clock. I'll read the Bible, I'll say a prayer, get myself together before I get my mom and sister up. And then, in the evening time, I'll watch TV, I'll go to the gym, or if I have a nurse that is here, I try to go to the gym and work out, go to the store, grocery shop, and anything just to give me time just for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. That's exactly right. So I'm curious, what have you learned about yourself on your caregiving journey?
Patience.
Mhm.
Patience. Because when I first started, I didn't have patience. I was upset, angry, confused, frustrated, just trying to figure things out and trying to navigate everything. So more patience and gratitude and understanding. When people get dementia and Alzheimer's, there's this thing called sundowning. You have to understand all those different things, and you got to understand, if they repeat themselves or stuff like that. You just got to have more patience. A lot of people don't have patience, and I had to develop that very quickly. So, just patience, understanding, and gratitude, being
Yeah.
and remembering the moments and the memories, with my mom is, taking care of her, um and I try to keep her as she still is mom, as she still is, her name is Sharice. I can always call her Sharice so that way she'll remember her name, that she still, hey, you still mom, regardless of, when they say twice a child, what they say, I still make sure she's still mom, and that way she can still try to remember.
Yes. That is so important, right? To still like breathe life and dignity into who your mom was and is, right? Because even though things have changed, like physically, but it doesn't actually, or mentally and like neurologically, it doesn't take her away from being your mom. And so to still treat her in those ways matters so much to her in ways she probably can't even express to you.
She's a quiet person. She's always to herself. She loved flowers. She loved floor designing. She loved to decorate. She decorated this whole house. She went to school for floor designing. She used to work at a company here in Charleston called the Coastal Center. They deal with special needs, and it's crazy because I always say when she used to work back then, special needs, then she found her my stepdad, and then got married, and she had my sister, and then she developed special needs. So it's just like God knew what He was doing. um,
Mm,
Drive school bus. She used to do a lot of things. She used to work at J.C. Penney's and Belk's and stuff like that. So my mom did a whole lot. She used to sing on the church choir. They call it the young adult choir. She used to sing on the choir as well. And then when she started, you know, getting sicker or whatever, I still been letting her go to church. I still let her go different places. I still try to get her out the house as much as I can. I still exercise with her, try to move her legs and her arms a little bit more. So I've been doing all the things, everything you can think of.
that's so great. Oh, that's I someone's going to be blessed by hearing you say that because I think that some people get really just down in the dumps about all the things their person can't do or
Mm-hmm.
that things are difficult. But what I hear you saying is like, no, we're still going to try, right? It might look
Right.
different, but
Yeah.
we're gonna still make the attempt to give my mom the things that she loved to do at one point in
Yeah, I
time.
play music for her. I let her listen to music. I still feed her different things she loved. My mom had loved to cook, so I used the pork and beans and rice, the lima beans, the greens, macaroni, stuff like that. I still make sure even though she's on a healthy, balanced meal, I still make sure she eats the food that she loves, and stuff like that. And not just, and when you're dealing with dementia, there's other things you have to deal with. Like I had to deal with her with UTIs and constipating and all that stuff. So it was a lot dealing with that, and still is dealing with that. I just have to take it day by day, because when you wake up, you just don't know, okay, Lord, what's going to happen today, or what I'm going to expect today. So you just never know. You just have to say, Lord, I ask you just to be with me every step of the way, every day, every morning when I get up. I don't know what's going to happen, but I just ask you to be with me. Um, so I just been pushing myself to do that. And
Yes.
one of the interviews you had the other day with the young lady, you talked about grief, and you talked about and I've been through that. Still going through that. Them being there, and I we men. We don't like to cry. We don't like to show emotions and stuff, but it's there, and I've been going through that too as well. So in dealing with that too, and not seeing that your loved one is not doing what they used to do. It's a lot. It's a
Hmm.
lot to deal with. Yeah.
Hmm. How do you process your grief?
Oh, some days I do, some days I don't. I just go along with the flow. I
Mm,
might break down a little bit, but I just keep going. Like I
mm,
said, I keep focused on the music and my business and stuff, and I just keep praying. I said, Lord, I ask you just to fight this, just fight. I know one of the pictures that you had on the caption, you said your mom, we're gonna go out with a fight. We're gonna fight this thing. Dementia is not going to take over, and the Alzheimer's not going to take over. So I um, just push myself, and just know that we're gonna win this.
mm. Yeah. And it's okay to pause and let yourself feel it all, right? Because if
Yeah,
you don't, you just push it down, and it'll come out when you don't want it to, or like, or when you least expect it. And
yeah,
so just
yes,
the encouragement to whenever you feel, however you feel, whether it's anger, sadness, whatever the emotions of grief are
yeah.
for you, I think it's just so important to like let yourself feel them so that you can move through them and keep going, to your point, right?
Now, yes. Now, what about you? How do you process grief, and what do you do, and let everyone know out there as well?
I appreciate you asking me questions.
I try to interact, you know.
Come on, very good. Yeah, honestly, I think my grief processing and just like understanding of grief has evolved over time.
Yeah.
In the sense that at the beginning of my journey, it was like, go, 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 burn the candle at both ends. I don't have time. I have to travel back and forth. My mom is in Virginia. I live in Texas. Like, I didn't give
Oh,
myself,
wow. Okay.
I didn't give myself the
Yeah.
space,
Yeah.
And so it wasn't until I moved back home
Mm-hmm.
to Virginia where I was like, oh, this is called grief. Like I'm
Mm-hmm.
grieving my mom. I'm grieving my relationship. I'm grieving the fact that like this is not at all what I expected to be doing at 30 years old,
Yeah.
right? And when I realized and could put a name to it, it also gave me the space to like let myself be angry or like let myself go outside and like sit in the car and yell or go for a workout or go for a walk
Yeah.
because I knew that I could no longer just like stuff it down because I would just end up resentful or I would end up
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
expressing frustration towards my mom when no one she didn't deserve that.
Mm-mm.
So yeah, I've learned to give myself the space to feel it, to move with it, to feel whatever emotion it is,
Yeah.
and then pick myself up and keep moving,
And
right?
keep.
Because I
Yeah.
recognize that grief is not a one-time thing.
Mm-mm.
I'm going to feel it multiple times a day, right? And so I've got to have the mechanisms in place to like let myself like feel it and keep going because you got to keep going.
You got to keep going. Yeah. Yeah. And like you said, sitting in the car, some days I be, I just like, okay, let me breathe a little minute. You know, sometimes you have to sit in the car, you know.
Yep,
Yeah. Meditate. Yeah. Yeah.
that's exactly right. Listen, the car has held a lot of emotions for many people, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Definitely.
So what would you say? You've kind of touched on this, but I want to hear you say it directly is how do you find joy in the midst of such a heavy burden?
Hmm. How do I find joy? Um. Ooh, good question. Um. How do I find joy? Like what I said before, going to church as well as singing, ministering to people. Also, um, just pushing myself. Also to um, sometimes you have joy, like you have the joy to push and knowing that your mom is there and knowing that your mom is dealing with this and you just got to have joy and I the joy that I have is just like I said going to church praising God doing my music doing my shirt business also helping other people. I have also a 95-year-old granny. Her name is Henrietta Fields. She goes to my church, and she's starting to get dementia as well. And I just like to help her as well. And I take her out for a ride. We'll go for a ride. We'll go this place and that place, along with my mom and sister, and just to see the joy of her going different places, not sitting at home. Because sometimes they don't like to sit at home. They want to go out. They want to get out and go. So I get a joy of helping other people. I love
Mhm.
helping other people. I love giving back to the community and stuff like that. I've been helping people with, especially with Thanksgiving and stuff like that. Been doing different things like that. So just giving back. That's how I get my joy as well. Even though, sometimes you feel upset or you feel sad, I still get the joy just to push and just to help others.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I love that. That fact that you are so giving of yourself
Mm-hmm.
and in the midst of being stretched thin, like caring for a
Yes.
parent and a sister, and then you're still like, I love helping other people. And
Hmm.
that's so
I
encouraging to
I love
hear.
the other people. I have another friend. She has her own business too, shirt business. I support their business. We have other singers, other artists here in South Carolina. I'll go and support their music and their concerts and different things like that. So just getting a joy of helping others and supporting other people, businesses and entrepreneurship. And I also like to promote that on Facebook and Instagram. I do that too. I promote different people stuff. I like that's why I love to share people different businesses and different things like that. So yeah.
That's great. So my
Yeah.
next question for you is, what do you love about caregiving and what do you hate about caregiving?
What I love about caregiving, of course, my mom and my sister. I love them dearly. I love being here, taking care of them, and making sure I love getting up in the morning, cooking breakfast for them, especially breakfast, um, and just overall being here. The thing that I least hate about changing their diapers and their briefs and making sure you stay on top of the home health care, because a lot of people don't talk about that. Home health care and the Medicare and Medicaid, it's a lot to deal with. um, People don't know the behind the scenes of trying to get grants and trying to get help for your loved ones, and trying to making sure they are, even if they're going to the nursing home or going to the daycare system, making sure they're being well taken care of. A lot of these nurses aides, they don't do what they're supposed to do. Even coming in the home, not just necessarily in the nursing homes, but even coming in the home, they don't do what they're supposed to do all the time, or the company is not paying them enough. And I dealt with a lot of nurses and aides with that. So a lot, and then having new people coming in and going out and taking care of them and trying to help. That's why I took upon myself. I'll say, okay, you know what? Let me do it. Since they are going to pay me, let me take care of them and do it and still stay behind them, making sure that they get the job done. So a lot of people out here, they're not genuine. They're not patient. They not have gratitude. They don't do the things that you're going to do for your mom or your sister or your loved one or whatever. So that's one thing that's some of the things I hate about is the system.
Yeah.
Um, Being that there's not enough funding, there's not enough money, grants in the system. I had a grant for my mom and it just ended at the end of this month. And they told me that next year you have to apply again next year. And I said, that's crazy. I had to wait till all the way till next year to June just to apply for another grant. I said, my mom is disabled. She's sick. I need more help. I need more. I understand I'm doing it, but I still need more help.
Right.
Also not enough supplies. You might not get enough chucks and bed sheets and pull-ups and boosts and insurers and all that stuff, not having enough of those things, and making sure you have the right wheelchair, making sure you have the right bed for her and stuff like that. So all those things I dislike because they're not helping like they're supposed to, and
Yep.
then you have to stay on them to do that. So yeah.
Hmm.
Now what about you? What are your likes and dislikes? I
You
want
are
you
the
to have.
only person that's ever asked me questions back, and I love it. Thank you for including me.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think I have very similar dislikes. Like I think the healthcare system and then the support systems around it are really um just incomplete in the sense like
Yeah.
that they're not as helpful as I think people think that they are,
Yeah.
which is why I'm always like, y'all, what's the plan? Do you have a plan? Do you know your
Yeah.
person's plan? Because I think that you're relying on systems that are not reliable, right? So that really irks me. But I would say for me, what I love most is being able to see my mom smile and to see her like
Yes.
so connected, right? Whether it's, reacting to my voice or reacting to me
Yeah.
singing to her or cooking a meal that she likes. It's a reminder that my mom is still very much present and
Yes.
here.
And
Things
here.
just look different.
Mm-hmm. And I'm the same way, singing to my mom, letting her listen to music, making sure she's eating. At one point, she wasn't eating as much. So
Mhm.
I thank God, she's eating more and knowing my presence. She might not know nothing else, but knowing that I always call her by her name and knowing that and she hears my voice. So that's the blessed thing, to love the most, knowing that
Yeah.
she knows your voice. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If you could start over, like start over, go back pre 2015, like what would you do differently?
Uh,
If it,
get better results, get better doctor care, a better diagnosis or something. If I could turn back the hands of time, I would have been a holistic person. I would have been doing more herbs and vitamins and making sure she eat more healthier than now. Um, just making sure I had the right aides and the right CNAs and making sure Medicare and Medicaid is doing their thing, doing what they're supposed to do. All of that. To me, if I had to do that, that definitely will start there. um,
yeah,
Getting different neurologists to figure out what's going on, scanning the brain, doing making sure have to do an MRI or whatever it is to make sure what's going on with the brain. Is it shrinking more? Is it less? Or is it still the same? Stuff like that. And now a lot of things that we want to do we can't really do now, like say mammogram or um, checking, making sure everything's good because her state and her condition, she can't do all those things like that like she used to. Making sure
yeah,
she go to the dentist, making sure her teeth are well, making sure all that OGBYN, all making sure all of that is good now than what I was doing before.
yeah,
So
absolutely. It's
yeah,
like you don't know what you don't know, but you're like, oh my gosh, if I could rewind,
yes.
I would have asked for help in a completely different way.
You gotta tell me, if you had to rewind, what would you do to get your mom together, and to what can you do, or what would you do?
I think if I could rewind and go back to like 2012, 2013, I think I would have involved my family more.
Yeah.
I'm an only child, it's just my mom and me, but my mom has siblings, and I think that they just assumed that I would figure it out and I would have it all together. But I wish I would have been more vocal about just needing to feel supported and needing to feel them like in their presence and helping
Mm,
me with her.
yeah.
I also think if I could rewind, I honestly like I would have just been much smarter with my finances.
Same
Um, you
here.
know,
Yes. Yeah.
we
Yeah.
just need more money. Like we
Yeah.
just need more access to capital, to be honest.
Yes. And I'm learning that now too. I'm definitely learning, especially I'm not working. I had to quit my job and trying to find a work from home job. It's hard, and
Yeah.
trying to balance the bills and different things like that. And like you say about family, most of my family, my uncles, my aunt, they passed on. I only have one aunt living now, and I have cousins, but they don't live here. They all live out of town. But I just wish my family, would be able to help out more. And be a family like we supposed to. Seem like after the grandparents and all, after the matriarchs has passed on, it seemed like family has changed a whole lot, and they don't come around like they used to. And the only time you see them is at a funeral, or maybe see them at a family reunion, if that. But is I wish our family would connect more and do more together, because we are a family. But it's just you don't get that all the time now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If your family even has family reunions. I know we've
Yeah.
stopped doing that.
Yeah. You're right. The last time we had a family reunion was before the pandemic.
Yeah.
Hadn't had a family reunion in a long time. Yeah.
Mhm. So, you kind of touched on this when talking about the things that are really difficult about caring, but I'm curious, if you could, what's my question? I think I want to ask you, like, what would help for you really look like? So if you could like wave a magic wand and like tell all the experts and all the folks that are able to support family caregivers of people with dementia,
Hmm.
what would the most like ideal scenario of help look like for you?
Um, come to sit with my mom for maybe an hour or two, so I can go to the store, or go to the gym, or spend time for myself. Just hmm. Another thing is just either coming to cook, or coming just to make sure, just to visit or to pray, just making sure, is everything okay? Do you need anything? How's your mental? Are you okay? Is your sister okay? I wish I had more of that, and
Mm.
especially with family and with friends, and um sometimes even the CNAs, the nurses, when they can't come to work, or they don't want to come to work, or something happens, you stuck, you here by yourself. And sometimes I feel like, and I've been getting like that too. I said, okay, Lord, what if something happened to my mom and I'm here by myself? I don't know what to do. Something, what if she choke, or what if she can't breathe, or what I supposed to do? um and sometimes you feel like you're alone, you feel like you want to have somebody here, and sometimes I've been feeling like that too, that I need somebody here to help, but in good intentions. But you don't have people that have good intention that are not genuine. So what do? You have to trust God. You have to. My spiritual mom always tell me, her name, trust in God. You can't trust in man. Focus, on you taking care of your mom. And everybody always encouraged me. You doing such a great job taking care of your mom and sister, and you're a male person, you're doing such an awesome job, and you don't get that all the time, especially with guys. A lot of people always say, oh, I don't know how you do it, I don't know how you take care of your mom and sister. I would have been put them in a nursing home, I would have been put them in the facility. And I'm looking at them like, really?
Mm.
And I'm not saying nothing bad about nursing homes and stuff. You do have stories. I've heard stories, good and bad, about nursing homes and different things like that, and facilities. um but I feel that I just rather her just to be home, than I know that she's comfortable at home, and instead of being someplace else that she's not comfortable being in.
Yeah. Something you mentioned when you first started answering this question was like, I really just want people, and I'm synthesizing, but
Hmm.
like, I want people just to check in on me,
Check
check
in.
in on my
Yeah.
mental health. Like,
Yeah.
am I okay? Do I have what I need? And I
Yes.
think that sometimes that gets overlooked. But in the midst of all the things you could have said, you could have said so many things. And the thing that you said is, come make sure I'm okay. And
Yeah.
yeah, like
Yeah.
we overlook us.
A lot of people don't want to help, and I was like, okay, well, just come and just sit, or either come and you can come and help me change diapers, or you can help me wash her up, or you can help me cook, or just come and say hello.
Mm,
That Just come and say hello. How are you doing? Do
yeah,
you need anything? You need food? You need clothes? Anything you need?
yeah,
That's the main thing. But it's just like you say, you feel like you're by yourself most time. You don't have nobody to look up to, or to ask questions. And I guess pride too. You don't want to ask, like I say, or they might not help me, or they might not don't want to do anything, so you don't ask. And like you
right.
said about your family, you wish you had your family more to help. And sometimes you don't want to ask them, because you figure like, okay, they're not going to help me, or they're not going to partake, or they're not going to participate or help take care of my mom or my sister or whatever.
Hmm.
So I understand. I get that.
So my final question for you is, if you could tell your mom one thing, what would it be?
I love her. Um, I'll do anything for her. I want her to come back. But the main thing is I love her, and thank you for caring for me. Thank you for taking care of me and my sister. And if it's anything, I'm there. And the main thing is I love her and I care for her. And thank you for putting me in different schools. Thank you for putting me from public school to private school. Thank you for making sure me and my sister get to church, or making sure I go to school and college, making sure, just thanking you for helping me to get my first permit and my license to drive. Just those things. I just thank you for being a mom. Thank you for being there. Her being a single mom, my dad wasn't in my life like that. I just thank you for taking care of me because you could have sent me out for adoption, or you could have disowned me, or you could have do anything else, but you took care of me and my sister, and for that I just say thank you. I just want to say thank you. Now, what about you? What would you tell your mom?
Yeah. I would say to my mom that I hope that I'm making you proud,
Yes.
and that I hope that you see that you are not a burden, and it has been
Yeah.
the greatest joy
Yeah.
to create this life with her.
Yes.
Um, and even in all the twists and turns, I would say, like, Mom, I think we made it. Like, we made it. Like, we're doing well. And well doesn't mean financially or like, rolling in like generational wealth. I mean, we want that. We're
Yeah.
working on.
Yeah.
But the well is like, we're happy. Your home is paid for. We have access to, resources and support, and we're truly doing the very best we can. And
Yes.
that is all the result of the seeds that my mom planted years ago.
Yeah.
And so I hope that she's proud. That's what I would
Yeah. I hope,
say.
like, I will tell my mom that too. I hope she's proud. You raised a great son. So I hope you're proud of me and what all I'm doing and what I'm accomplishing in life.
I
Yeah.
love that. I
Yeah.
love that. Thank you so much
No,
for
thank.
connecting with me.
Yes. Yes.
It was so good to just hear how you approach care, but also just like how you stay grounded for yourself. And in the end of the day, you're just a son showing up for his mom. That's what I
Yeah.
hear.
And you a daughter showing up for your mother. So I thank God for you, and you continue to do what you do and show the world, we are caregivers, and we love our family, and it's okay to check up on us. It's okay to love on us too. It's okay to carry each other's burdens. It's okay to lift each other up and to encourage each other. So I
No,
can continue. You continue to do what you do and be the light of caregivers and taking care of your mom, and a bless is a blessing.
thank you so much.
Yeah.
Awesome.